As soon as Calvin Klein first posted Jungkook as the main face of their campaign, the fashion world seemed to pause. One simple video sweeps the entire social media timeline in just minutes. Not only the army was frantically happy, but also fashion journalists, photographers, and even competitors of other brands who began to stare at their screens with one and the same reaction. This is not just a campaign, this is a moment. The fashion world knows that whenever Calvin Klein releases something, it has to be classy. But this time, it's different. Jungkook is not just a model. He is a symbol of transition from just a global celebrity to a cultural force. The fashion editors began to analyze her gestures, the way he looked at the camera, even the seemingly simple but controlled pose of her hands. Every detail has a story. The international models are aware of something. Calvin Klein, which has been known for its American and European model faces, has suddenly turned the spotlight on Asia, on Seoul, on a young figure who grew up in the music world but is now penetrating the most exclusive realm of fashion. Not surprisingly, since that first upload, the search volume for Calvin Klein Jungkook jumped thousands of %. Fashion magazines from Vogue, GQ, to Harper's Bazaar wrote almost uniform headlines, "The Jungkook Effect." There is something inexplicable but tangible felt, a visual magnetism that is not artificial. The photographers who worked with Jungkook confessed. He comes with a calmness that is difficult to describe. Not much to say, but everyone on the set immediately noticed. Even Calvin Klein's creative director at the time said that Jungkook was not just the star of the campaign, but a new narrative that brought back the classic Calvin Klein spirit to the modern era. The campaign not only showcased denim or leather jackets, but also showed how Calvin Klein found new relevance through someone who never claimed to be a model, and from that moment on, the fashion world realized one thing: Jungkook was not on a roll. It is setting a new standard. That authenticity can be more valuable than decades of fashion reputation. Now, the fashion world calendar marks a single date, October 28th, the day Calvin Klein will once again launch their new campaign, and yes, Jungkook is at the center of it all. But this time, the atmosphere was different. If the first campaign felt like an introduction, this one is more like a statement. Speculation began to circulate. Will the concept be darker, more masculine, or just surprise with Jungkook's soft side that is rarely shown in front of fashion cameras? Stylists and photographers in the world of international fashion began to guess his visual direction, especially after several pieces of video leaked from a photoshoot session in a New York studio, showing Jungkook with a slightly longer hairstyle, a more muscular body, and a much sharper gaze. The internet immediately exploded. Comment after comment flooded Calvin Klein's official upload. "He's not a model, he's a dream," wrote one fan. But behind the bustle of fans, the world of professional fashion actually read deeper. They knew, when Calvin Klein scheduled the campaign at the end of October, adjacent to the momentum of the global fall divided by winter collection launch, it was no coincidence. That's strategy. And making Jungkook the main face again means the brand is doubling down on their bets in the Asian and American markets at the same time. From Seoul to New York, billboards bearing Jungkook's silhouette began to appear. There's an aura of mystery in the way Calvin Klein builds anticipation without many words, just a faint visual with the phrase, "He's back." In the fashion world, it is rare for one individual to be able to create this kind of waiting effect. The senior models also spoke. Some of them even admitted in magazine interviews, "It's hard to compete with the hype Jungkook creates. He is not just popular, but creates new currents." And sure enough, various major modeling agencies in Europe are reportedly starting to adjust their promotional strategies to the K-effect trend, a new term in the fashion industry that refers to the impact of Korean stars on global brands. When the teaser for the new campaign surfaced, with Jungkook standing in a minimalist room, lit only by a cool white light, all eyes were on him. No need for complicated poses. One look is enough to make the fashion world stop scrolling. Calvin Klein knows very well. They are not selling clothes, they are selling the atmosphere. And Jungkook is the atmosphere itself. Here's a question hanging in the air. After all the incredible moments from the previous campaign, can Jungkook really look even more stunning? In the fashion world, more is a complicated word, but when it comes to Jungkook, there seems to be no limit. When famous models like Bella Hadid, Kaya Gerber, and Noah Beck talk about the pressure of maintaining relevance in the fashion world, Jungkook steps calmly without saying much, but leaves an impression that is difficult to lose. Industry analysts say the secret lies in genuine confidence. A sense of confidence that is not made up. Jungkook is not trying to be a model, he's just being himself. And that's exactly what the camera fell in love with. Fans know that every time Jungkook shows up, it's not just a new photo they're waiting for, but also a first impact sensation, a moment where everyone pauses just to stare. When the October 28 campaign announcement was released, the hashtag number Jungkook's Calvin Klein instantly topped the global trend in 60 countries. From Brazil, America to Japan, public enthusiasm is unstoppable. But on the other hand, professional models see it as a challenge. Jungkook's phenomenon sets a new standard in the world of commercial fashion, where personality and cultural credibility define more than just hours of modeling. Calvin Klein is aware that they are not just a face, but a representation of global values. Hard work, authenticity, and cross-cultural appeal. Some fashion editors even said that Jungkook's latest appearance could be a turning point for Calvin Klein's aesthetic direction going forward. It will all depend on how the campaign is structured, whether it will highlight the masculine sensuality characteristic of CK, or, on the contrary, explore a softer, more artistic, introspective side. To be sure, every time Jungkook's name is mentioned, there is a collective energy that shakes cyberspace. Behind the scenes, the production team worked for months to make sure everything was perfect, from the lighting, to the wardrobe, to the color tones that should accentuate the grit but still be elegant. And in the midst of it all, Jungkook still came away with the same calmness as the first campaign. Not a lot of words, no need for excessive gestures, just aura. The aura that now makes even senior models say, if the camera could talk, maybe he would say, I like to photograph him the most. So, will Jungkook look stunning? The fashion world already knew the answer even before the campaign was released. Because this time, it's not just Calvin Klein who is preparing to show Jungkook. The world is preparing to re-witness the mesmerizing definition itself. Day by day, it feels slower, approaching October 28th. The fashion world seems to be waiting for something that cannot be said, but that everyone knows is coming. From the editor of a fashion magazine in New York to a photography studio in Seoul, all eyes are on one name that has had enough to make the entire industry tremble since his first campaign with Calvin Klein, Jungkook. It was as if the entire fashion world was holding its collective breath, waiting to see how this figure would again shake up the global fashion universe. But what makes it interesting is not only the new campaign, but the atmosphere created before that day arrives. Calvin Klein hasn't released a single official photo yet. A small leak is enough to set the virtual world on fire. There's one 4-second video circulating on X featuring a silhouette of a man with a dark haircut and field shoulders standing in front of studio spotlights. No logo, no caption, but the fans didn't take long to find out who he was. "It's him," wrote thousands of comments in a matter of minutes, as if the collective instinct of the internet world knew. It's Jungkook. Since then, the mood has changed. Everyone began to guess. What will the concept of the campaign look like this time? Will it be as nuanced in black and white as before? Or will it instead show a bolder, experimental side? The fashion world has a habit of predicting. But for Jungkook, all theories could have collapsed. Because every time he appears, something is unpredictable. The media began reporting rumors that the new campaign would feature Jungkook in a more cinematic concept, more body movements, lighting play, and an introspective feel that purportedly illustrates his evolution as a global icon. Some fashion journalists even wrote that this project is Calvin Klein's most expensive campaign in the last 5 years. That means it's not just clothes and photos, it's going to be a big visual event that brings music, art, and fashion together in a single narrative. But the most interesting thing is how the world responds before anything is even shown. Billboards in New York, Seoul, and Tokyo have started showing teasers with the simple phrase, "The wait is almost over." That's it. But the effect is amazing. Within an hour of the teaser airing, Jungkook's name was back on the global trend. Fans around the world began making video countdowns, fan-made edits, and detailed analysis of possible visual themes Calvin Klein would use. Meanwhile, in the world of professional fashion, models and photographers discuss precisely from a technical point of view. They noticed how Calvin Klein now dares to build large campaigns with only one main figure, without an accompanying model, without a group background. This is a big decision in the fashion world, because usually such big brands choose to show several faces to expand their market reach. But this time, only Jungkook. The meaning is clear. They believe this one face is enough to carry the entire visual narrative of the brand. Some sources in the industry say that the shooting took place in 2 locations, a closed studio in Brooklyn and a secret outdoor set on the outskirts of Los Angeles. He said the outdoor set uses the concept of urban solitude, a visual style that features individual figures in the middle of empty urban spaces, symbolizing isolation and introspection. Interestingly, it's very much in tune with Jungkook's current phase of his career, where he stands on top of the world, but still shows a reflective, human side. And this is what the public is so curious about. How will Calvin Klein capture that side visually? What will his expression be like? How intense will the atmosphere be? The fashion world has not been waiting for a campaign with such enthusiasm since the era of Kate Moss and Mark Wahlberg in the 90 seconds. The difference is that now it is not America that is at the center, but Seoul, a place where a music artist becomes a global fashion icon. Behind the scenes, Calvin Klein seems to know exactly what they are doing. They no longer just sell clothes, but create cultural moments. All movements feel planned, but still have a strong aura of mystery. Their official Instagram account even uploaded just one teaser photo, a folded denim fabric with a small JK signature in the bottom corner. No faces, no big clue, just symbols. But the effect? Incredible. 20 million likes in a day. And more than 100,000 comments contain only one sentence: "We're ready." This phenomenon began to make fashion analysts talk about the anticipation economy. The anticipation economy, in which public expectations of one figure create economic value even before the product appears. And Jungkook is now the most concrete example of that theory. The closer to the 28th, the more tension is felt. Fans in Japan, America, and Brazil are already preparing to create virtual watch events to welcome the campaign launch. Calvin Klein even reportedly set up interactive LED installations in Shibuya and Times Square that would light up in unison just as the campaign video premiered. You can imagine millions of eyes will be watching the giant screen featuring Jungkook in a new visual never seen before. But behind all the glamour, there's a quieter side about how Jungkook himself deals with this tremendous pressure. In one of the off-record interviews, a crew member from the production team said that Jungkook always came early to the set, making sure everything aligned with the concept he understood. He didn't just come to be photographed, the crew said. He came to participate. He wanted to know why this pose, why this light, what was the message behind each frame. This is not just a photo shoot for Jungkook, it is a project he is living with full awareness of. He knew that on the 28th, the whole world would see, judge, and perhaps compare. But he also knows one thing that can't be bought: sincerity. And that's precisely what makes everyone look forward to how it looks. No matter what happens, it will feel real. The closer to the launch date, the more it feels that we are not waiting for an ordinary campaign. We are waiting for a new definition of what it means to be a global icon in the modern era. And amid all the spotlight, only one big question hangs in the air. Will Jungkook again amaze the world, or will he rewrite the meaning of the word amaze itself? The fashion world can't wait to find out.